Hi, I'm Jennifer Beckstrand, and this is my 10-minute book club. Hi, readers. Merry Christmas time. What a lovely time of year. Tonight, I'm going to be interviewing Josi Kilpack about her new cozy mystery, and I know you're just going to have so much fun hearing about it. Josie is an old friend, and I just love the way she writes and just a delightful person. You're going to really love this interview. If you ask a question or leave a comment in the comment section below tonight, while it's on Facebook, and I'll leave the comments open for 48 hours, you will automatically be entered to win a copy of Josie's latest book, which we're going to be talking about tonight. Remember to go to my website and sign up for my newsletter because you'll be able to download a free book. And also, I know that Thanksgiving is over, but you really need to pick up A Harvest of Amish Blessings, which is a Thanksgiving anthology of Amish stories by me, Mindy Still, Tracy Fredrikowski, and Rachel J. Good. It's delightful, heartwarming, and I know you're going to love it, even during the Christmas season. Now, I'm really excited to introduce Josie Kilpack. Josie, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I love it.
I'm so glad you're here. Josie was my very first 10-minute book club interview. I
Hey,
mean,
really? I didn't remember that part.
yes, we have come full circle. This is
Yes, we
amazing.
have. Well, I'm so excited I have another book, so I get to come back.
I am too. So, for the readers who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into writing and kind of
Okay.
everything.
I am a Utah native. I grew up in Salt Lake and I made it about an hour north. That's where I raised my family, was up in Box Elder County. I started writing, gosh, I've been writing a while now, 25 years, 26 years,
Um,
something like that. My first few books were faith-based, and then I moved into my first mystery series, a culinary mystery series, the Sadie Hoffmiller series that started back in the early 2000s. Did that for quite a while, finished it up 10 years ago now, which is wild.
that is
Did
wild.
some historical romance for a bit, and now I have the first book in a new mystery series that just came out a couple months ago. I'm primarily published by Shadow Mountain in a traditional publishing format there. I've done a little bit of indie with some short stories through Mirror Press, who does some romance anthologies, and I've done two books with Kensington Press under the pen name Jessica Pack. They're more contemporary women's fiction, a little bit heavier subject matter than my Josie S. Kilpack stuff.
Okay. So, are these mysteries romances too, or are they just straight
No, they're
mystery?
pretty. I mean, there's a romantic interest in there, but they're pretty straight mystery, cozy mystery.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's been fun. This mystery series that the first book came out for, the title is Is After Lulu Dupree. It was an idea that I had right after I'd finished my Sadie Hoffmiller series, and that series was 12 books, and it covered many years. And I had tried to go right into this series, and I just couldn't get it to sound like its own. It sounded like the character, like the Sadie Hoffmiller character I had in that prior series. And so, historical romance, Shadow Mountain had just started up their proper romance line. And I had thought maybe I could do a book or two with them and kind of cleanse my palate a little bit and then come back to the mystery. And I ended up being there for another 10 books or so because it just was a good fit and I enjoyed it.
Mm.
And so now I've been able to kind of circle back. And the character feels fresh to me, the storylines feel fresh to me, and it's been fun to change things up again.
Oh, that's so great. Well, your historicals are amazing. Are they all based on an actual person? Because the two I've read were based on two real people. Are they all based on that?
They're not, so there's kind of that little bit of distinction. I know you know it, but between historical romance and Regency romance, and I've done both. Regency romance is just a fictional romance that takes place during the Regency era, which is essentially the early 1800s. Historical romance is going to be a romance, but it's going to be centered around either a historical person or a historical event or a specific time period, and that historical fact is going to be part of the story. So I have three books that are what we'd consider historical romances, the ones that you mentioned. So one is about Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, another is about Sir Walter Scott, and then the third one is Harriet Beecher Stowe. So those are my historical romances, and then I have several Regency romances that, therefore not based on an actual historical detail, just set in a time period.
So how do you find that balance? Because you've got to write things that you know didn't happen, or you've got to sequence events that aren't in the right sequence, you know?
Right, right. It's tricky, and each one of those books at one point it really kind of I guess clogged my creativity. Like I really
Really?
had time with it.
Mm.
One of the things that helped me sort through it was so Henry Longfellow, he wrote the the Ride of Paul Revere. So a story. He wrote this in the about 1825, which is about 50 years after the Revolutionary War. And he talks in that story, we learned it in school, gather children and ye shall hear the amazing ride of Paul Revere, something like that. Um, and but as I was researching his book, I learned that the details he included in that story were not true. So Paul Revere was actually arrested or caught, captured. Arrested isn't the right word, but he was captured before he got to, I think was it Concord he was going to?
Lexington and Concord,
Lexington,
yeah.
yes. So
Okay.
he was actually captured. It was a different writer who made it to Lexington. But Revere rhymed better, and the whole story was in rhyme. And so he switched up these details so that the story would work. And
Wow.
I thought that was super interesting because for him, the Revolutionary War was a modern thing. It was kind of like the Vietnam War is to me, like it happened. It was real. Both of his grandfathers served. He knew the real story very, very well. And his whole purpose in writing that book had been because he wanted it written. He wanted a history that would continue. He didn't want people to forget what
Mm.
had happened, and this amazing thing happened. These three writers left from the North Church, which from there you can't actually see the lanterns, like like they say in the story. Um, and I thought that was really interesting. So, kind of his approach had been, I'm going to adjust the not essential details in order to tell a story people will remember.
Mm.
And that to me was kind of freeing. And I felt, okay, I can do the same thing then. But I also want it to be as close to real as it can be. So I do include chapter notes that will explain this is fictionalized, this is not, this is what really happened. If people want, they can look up those things and verify it. But you do have to kind of follow that story arc, and so I
Yeah.
had to kind of find a happy medium. I ran into it again with Sir Walter Scott when I was writing his book, and Sir Walter Scott is an enigma. He's this amazing person, so influential in his time and since then, so brilliant. Learning about him, it became really overwhelming. It was kind of like, who am I to write this man's story? Um, and his story didn't follow the right arc. He had a woman that he was madly in love with for quite a while, and she fell in love with his friend, and it just was absolutely heartbreaking to him. And there's not a lot of information about the woman he did marry, Charlotte. And I felt like I was fictionalizing a lot, but I had to kind of sit down and say, I am here to tell a story. I'm here to memorialize this one small part of this great man's life.
Mm.
And um, and that was when I kind of came up with my disclaimer that now I'm very vocal about that I am not a scholar, storyteller, and I'm here to tell you a story that I hope you will remember and I hope that you will enjoy. And then here's 20 pages of chapter notes for all the stuff that I changed so that it would
Good.
be a readable story. So kind of a funny aside, I'm probably going to use up all our time, but I had a trip planned to London with some friends, a research trip. And out of the blue was reached out to by the Sir Walter Scott Society of Edinburgh. And they just kind of randomly said, hey, if you're ever in the area, we'd love to have you come and present. And I'm like, oh my heck, I'm going in the fall. And so I end up scheduling up this thing to go and talk to this Sir Walter Scott Society in Edinburgh. I plan to go up there. Best trip I've ever taken. Edinburgh was my favorite place I've ever been in the whole world. And I go to this meeting and there's like 20 people there and I chat with them and but I'm intimidated. I'm like, these are people who like know him. And Edinburgh is Sir Walter Scott's city. He's everywhere in
Mm.
that city. If I'd visited there before I wrote the book, I'd have never written the book. I would have been intimidated. So I give my presentation and I do my thing. The next day I go up to Abbotsford, which is his mansion, and I take a tour and you walk through this little visitor center and there's all these interviews with scholars. These are the people who wrote the biographies that I used as my research materials.
Mm.
They were the faces of the people that were in the rooms. Three of them had been in that room the night before when I gave the presentation, and I had no idea who they were. Oh, it was wild, but a very cool experience. And they were
Oh, so
kind
cool.
and so respectful. And here
Oh.
I'm this little fiction writer. They are scholars who've dedicated their life to him, and
Mm.
it was quite surreal.
That is surreal. Good for you.
Yeah, it
This
was
is
cool. It was cool.
terrific.
It was an exam. Sometimes ignorance is exactly what we need. If I'd known better, I'd have acted differently, and it all turned out perfectly as it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so tell us about this book that
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like I said, it's been years in the making. I started a long time ago, and then I've kind of gone back to it here and there. But my main character, Lulu Dupree, she was in a car accident 5 years ago, earlier, before the book took place, and sustained a traumatic brain injury that changed her personality and changed, pretty much everything in her life. And so she went from being a really brilliant financial strategist to working as a caregiver in Sedona, Utah. She has a 13-year-old daughter she doesn't have custody of, and she's worked hard to build a simple but manageable life for herself. She's
mm,
quirky. She believes in the energy vortexes of Sedona and that they helped heal her. Um, she's she's fun, a little bit of an unreliable narrator. But the story centers around that she realizes someone's trying to kill her and she can't figure out why or who. And so the story is all about her trying to figure out um, details she realizes that she'd forgotten during the time of her accident. And they've now caught up with her, and she's having to try and balance who she was and who she is and get out of the situation alive. So it's quirky, it's lighthearted, it's fun. She's neurodivergent and different from anybody I've written before, but had a lot of fun with her. It's been
oh, I love that. So is this, you said it's going to be a series?
Yeah, so we have a 3-book contract for it right now.
Okay.
So I'm just finishing up the second book.
Okay, so this is the first book in the
Yeah.
series.
So it's the first book in the series. The second one will be out this time next year, and
Okay.
then the third one should follow in 2027.
Okay. Um, I always need to know everybody's favorite romantic movie.
Oh,
So do you have
the
one?
Scarlet Pimpernel. That's my
Oh, I love that one.
love that.
Ooh. So Anthony Andrews,
Yes.
he was the BBC, when I was in high school, the BBC did the Shakespeare plays,
Okay.
all of the Shakespeare plays, and he was
Yeah.
Mercutio in,
Oh,
if I'm remembering it right. Now I better go look it up, or I'll have to cut
that's
this out.
Romeo
But
and Juliet, right?
he was Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet. And I remember just loving him. And then he appeared in Scarlet Pimpernel several years later. And
Oh,
oh,
he's
that's
so
such a
good. Yeah.
okay, last question.
Okay.
You're stuck on a desert island. What three things do you want to take with you?
Oh, God. I probably shouldn't say like, anyway, yeah. I'm not very good at that stuff because I'm not afraid of death. So I'd probably be like, let's just get this over with. In all honesty, I'd probably do a water filtration system,
Okay.
so that I have stuff to drink and um, a really good hat so I don't get sunburned because I'm
Very
Scandinavian.
fair.
So I just a disaster. And I don't know what would my third thing, probably a copy of the Poisonwood Bible because I'll just read that over and over and over again.
Don't you love that book? Oh my goodness.
Love it.
I love that
I
book.
read it in my 20s and I just wasn't grown up enough because I thought this is so dark and it's so heavy and now I read it and I'm like, oh my gosh, it is an absolutely gorgeous story. Oh
That
my.
is a really good pick. That's a really good idea. Although, if you're not afraid of death, you could skip the water filtration and, you'd probably take a couple weeks and then be dead anyway,
True,
right?
that's true. I don't see just death as something to be afraid of. I just see it as another step forward towards our best selves and our best happiness, I hope.
Well, I love that perspective. I heard a quote just the other day. They said, um, in heaven, all question marks will be changed to exclamation points.
Oh,
And
I
I
love
love
that.
that.
Oh, I love that.
But right now, we just kind of
I
have to walk
know.
by faith, and
And
it's
we have
okay.
to hang on to those question marks, and sometimes they are heavy.
They are heavy.
Obviously, I still have things to learn and to sort out through life, and which means I'll probably live till I'm like 120 years old or something.
Well, Josie, it's been so wonderful, such a pleasure. Always a pleasure to talk to you, and
Always so good to
good
see you.
luck on your book. And
I'm working on book two, which right now is titled Book Two.